What is the deal with bad library boards stealing from the public? The Bellwood Public Library has a terrible board, and the Friends of the Library aren't having it anymore.
I spoke during the public comments because of the meeting last month. The board brought in a consultant, and this consultant was supposed to do the bathrooms in the library, tuck pointing for the library, and the outbuilding, as well as some cracks in the sidewalk. They brought in this man who had no paperwork. There was no proposal. He had no references. Okay, they tried everything to get this man voted in on that day. There were no bids. This man gave his presentation and he made the suggestion that, there's a way to get around bids. You don't have to submit bids. You know, I can do this job. He said this in front of all those people. And what I pointed out to the board is that this is illegal. The board has the library has a mandate to go out for bids for jobs like this. And it's against the law if you do anything other than that. And what's wrong with going out and getting bids? Isn't that the best thing? 2, 3, 4.
The Bellwood Public Library Board seems to go out of its way to insult the members of the public who come to speak and tell them to obey the law. Members of the public have been begging them to get contracts bidded out to the lowest bidder before sending their money to friends of the board. Further, this board has been violating the Open Meetings Act and is now currently under investigation by the Illinois Attorney General. At this meeting, Regina, who is the board secretary, put up a huge fight when the public asked her to do her job and read the minutes. Members of the Bellwood community have reached out to Storytime Digital Media to tell us that they are being disrespected by their library board, as the board refuses to listen to them, refuses to follow its own rules, and breaks the Open Meetings Act on a regular and consistent basis. The members of the public want it to stop, and they want their neighborhood to know what this library board is up to.
Another thing was that had to do with reading the minutes. This board has not been used to reading the minutes. We have tried to tell them, yes, you have to read the minutes and they have to be approved. We had the secretary of the board vehemently going against that.
Let's move on. So Madam Chair.
Dictatorship.
That is not right. We should read the.
It's in your bylaws.
These are people that put us in office. We should read what's right. Exactly. Now, if you don't, the secretary's job is to read the minutes. The minutes should be read. I'm not being facetious. It's just the way it should be. That's the right thing to do.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what happened under my leadership. The public has come. The public has come and asked us to read the minutes. It's a part of a lot of things we haven't done when I was president. We didn't pass the bylaws. We didn't pass the bylaws like we should have. But if the community is asking us to read the minutes, we should read the minutes. Why not? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? I don't
read the minutes.
You're the secretary. If you
I've never
are you
read
giving us the position of secretary?
I'm sure not. But
Well,
I've never read.
it's your job to read the minutes. You're the secretary.
Mrs. Spratt was the
She
under
wasn't
the
supposed to because
leadership.
you're a secretary, Ms. Green.
Mrs. Smith, I would not be reading the minutes.
Well, we do allow someone else to do it.
Come on with the meeting. We'll be here all night, and I do not have all night to be here
Read the
arguing
minutes.
with the public or any of the board members. Let's get this meeting on. I said arguing.
Right is funny.
It wouldn't be an argument if you just complied and gave us a simple thing we are asking you for.
She even went against the president. Our president said nothing. Then finally, with pressure from the public, she said, Mrs. Green, would you read the minutes? she said no, and she did not read the minutes. Our president doesn't have the stuff.
I mean, we'll be here all night, and I do not have all night to be here
Read the
arguing
minutes.
with the public.
They're doing things that you say will put down public comment. You know what? They never had any public comment. It's just like we just woke up. I mean, we were asleep, and we just woke up to what was going on. So now we're looking into the way things should be done. I served on a local school council. I was the secretary. I was the parliamentarian. And then I come to this meeting and I started seeing things that they're doing. I said, hey, that's not right.
Well, I found the magic word, FOIA. And so what I did was I FOIA'd their expense reports and all of the travel records for the last 3 years. And going over those, well, first of all, it was a mess, and I had to bring it to a group, and we had to go through them together. But then we saw the money, the amounts of money. I mean, sometimes there was like $18,000 because all of them, well, not all, but let's say 4 or 5 of them might go on one trip. And keep in mind, these trips are not geared towards trustees. They are geared towards the people that work in the library. Now, a class for a trustee might be 1 day. They go all of the other days, and they share nothing. They don't bring anything back. And also, when they go, they are given an advanced payment. And it used, previous to last year, I believe, it was $75 per day for food alone. The board increased it to $150 per day for food alone. I stress this, for food alone. I asked the public. Prepaid.
So they're not
hotel and
And
everything.
some seminars provide the food. They give you a continental breakfast or lunch.
And they're not submitting a reimbursement later. They're getting
No.
this up front before they leave to go.
And submit no money, no receipts, and return no money. Okay. Also, $150 a day. I mean, even in California, that's too much. I mean, don't these people know about Olive Garden, Red
Right.
Lobster,
Or the
whatever?
continental buffet at the
Yeah,
at the hotel
at the hotel.
in the morning.
So we are not a village that
It's rich.
right. We are by
You're
no
not
means.
you're not Orland Park. No.
no way, shape, or form. We have people here who are struggling, and we have a huge senior citizen problem. Who pay taxes? This is unfair of our board, especially since it is against the law for them to be paid anything, and this amounts to compensation.
The school board has been, in Bellwood, has been an embarrassment for years. My children are in their 30s. They went to Bellwood schools. We were there as a parent all the time at their school board meetings, and they're still doing the same. There's a lot of underhandedness, disrespect for the parents, disrespect for the community, and it continues on and on from year to year to year. So out here there is, there has been a grassroots movement to get some of these lackeys off the school board. Because some of these people have been on the school board for years, and the same thing goes on and on and on.
And then also to make people aware, one of the things that we're trying to do too is to make the people who are involved with the schools, the parents that go to the board meetings and stuff like that, they have no idea that they have a way of fighting with FOIA and OMA. They have, and the statute. They have no idea. And so we would love to get with some of those people and have them to look at what happens here. First of all, this is our home, okay? Good, bad, ugly, whatever. This is where we live. And what you want to do is you want to make your village as profitable, successful, well-educated as possible. You want only good things. We have people who are coming in and they don't care about the community. Some of the people actually live here, and that's greed. Some people are from outside. They don't care. They don't care about us. they care about power and they care about taking money from your children. Okay, if you go to a school and there aren't enough desks, or there aren't enough computers, or there aren't enough books or adequate books, these people, our children are going to be, they're going to have problems for the rest of their life because they're not going to be able to compete with other children their own age. This is, it's a cycle, it goes around and around. We need to get these people off of our boards. Stop electing them over and over again because you know they're relative, or you worked with him once before, or he's a name you know. Stop doing that. Find out what these people are about. And please know that there is a way of fighting. You don't have to just go to a board meeting and have them tell you to shut up. Anything that's public, that's a record, that's any kind of record, voicemail, emails, letters, memos, anything that's a copy. I just FOIA'd an insurance policy from my library. And anything that's a public record, the public body, which is the public period, has the right to see it, to look at it. You don't have to be formal in asking for it. Something you can just go and ask for it. Better to have it in writing. It doesn't have, it could be in chicken scratch or whatever, as long as they're able to understand it. They have to give you that information. First of all, Bellwood has to wake up. A lot of times when you tell people about corruption or possible corruption in the library, we're at the early stages of it here. We need to stamp it out before it gets rooted. It would be so much easier and so much faster if we had more people supporting us. So what I would urge all Bellwoods to come to the Bellwood Library board meetings, and they're always the second Wednesday of each month at 6 o'clock in the Ari Bryant conference room. Let's not get it or let it run rampant in our library.
The Bellwood Public Library is a beautiful place that is important to the community of Bellwood, Illinois. And if the community would like this library to stay relevant and helpful to the community, then they need to stand up right now and force this board to comply with the law.